Hi, I'm Jennifer the Rabbit Lady, and today I wanted to talk about how I feed my rabbits and why. I feed my rabbits a natural diet. They don't get store-bought pellets at all. And so sorry, there's a little bee. But anyway, I do not feed them pellets. Now, in the beginning, I did. When I first started out, I started out with 2 rabbits that I got from an old farmer. I was just learning, and eventually my goal was going to be to feed them organically, because I set out originally to have meat rabbits and to know what's going in my meat, and know that there was no injections, there was no hormones, there was no nothing, and to know that my meat was good quality, to know what it has ate in its lifetime, how it's lived, and so that was originally my goal. And of course, it's my little goal turned into being a Rabbitry. I just got on this quest where I really started doing some research and trying to find out, okay, what's the most natural way I can feed my rabbit that would be doable for me? I can't just go out and clip my yard every day and rake in the grass, and not just that, but most people work, and it's hard to find time to do all that, plus the homesteading that I do. I can, and I just do all kinds of things. So in order for it to work for me, I really sat out and did some research, not only for it to work for me, but also to meet their needs. If they're getting all the nutrients and the vitamins that they need, all the minerals, everything that they need. Really how I started finding out, I started out from the angle of researching, like, okay, well, what did they do back before the days that commercial feeds were a big thing, like in the 1940s. That's kind of the angle I started at when I started doing my research, and what came up was alfalfa hay and grains. And I started researching, okay, well, what grains was that? And researching their vitamins and everything that's in them to see, okay, is this going to meet my rabbit's needs, and comparing them to commercial what it says on the commercial grade packages. And upon my research, I found that feeding them 90% hay or 95% hay, 90 to 95% hay, somewhere in between there, and the rest, grains or clippings, even leaves you rake up from the yard, and just, they love fresh green grass, as long as they don't get too much of it, and, they won't get diarrhea. But the grains I found, you can use barley and oats, or wheat and oats. And I actually could get barley around here, and wheat not so much. So maybe in your area, if you're wanting to do this, you could actually do this where you're at with wheat instead. So I get bales of hay that is just a hay mix. You can use Bermuda hay, or you can use just a hay mix, and in some places it's called a spring mix, if you're wanting to go totally natural, totally organic. This is what I feed my adult rabbits. Now, what I do is I'll give them, like this right here, this is racks inside their cages that I made that will hold actually more than their actual body size. And so you want them to at least eat as much hay as their body size. A big wad of hay that matches their body size, you want them to eat at least that. But I actually stuff more in there, and if there's still some the next day, which in some of them there is, every rabbit's different, then I'll just put the fresh hay on top of it and push the other down. Eventually they get to it. And then as far as the grains go, I buy, like I said, I buy the barley and the oats. I buy 150 150-pound bag of oats and 250-pound bags of barley. And if you don't have barley, you can, like I was saying, you can use the wheat, and you can just buy the 250-pound bags of wheat instead. The reason why I mix the two is for variety. Also, you're actually in that variety, you're getting different things in each grain as well. So another thing that you can do is in the winter months that helps rabbits a lot in the winter months is to feed them black sunflower seeds. And you can feed all ages that, of course. Another thing that I really have found that I like about feeding them this natural diet is, you know, they're eating these whole barley and oat grains. I don't buy the crimped, I buy the whole. And they're chewing on all of this all day. So it's keeping their teeth worn down. And not just that, I've actually found that my rabbits are happier. They are happier, enjoying themselves more by having these things to graze on. They're a grazing animal. And I mean, I thought it was going to be a transition to transition them from pellets to the grains and the hay. They turned their noses up completely to the pellets immediately when because I was mixing it in with the grains at first and giving them, you know, a little bit of hay. Hi, Abigail. I'm my pretty girl. And let's make sure she doesn't lick me in my face. But they were getting to where they were just kicking out the pellets. They just didn't want it, or just like moving it aside and eating all of the grain. So there was no transition there. They loved the grain and the hay. So they just went straight to that and they digested it just fine. They loved it, and they've just loved it ever since. And some of them, now that I've been doing this so long, have never known anything different. So they're coming up, you know, raised on this type of diet. Now, what I feed my pregnant and nursing does and even recovering does, and my kits, is I feed them, I don't give them the hay mix at all. I do give them the grain, and I give them alfalfa hay, just straight alfalfa hay, because it's so high in nutrients, it's so high in protein, it's so good for them. And it's great for growing kits. It's great for nursing does. It's great for the pregnant does. And then, of course, after they've had their babies and they've weaned them and everything, I go ahead and feed them that for a little while longer and then transition them back into the spring grass. You do this and you have trouble getting one of them transitioning and they're turning their nose up to the spring grass, just mix a little bit of the alfalfa in it for a while and gently phase it out of it until there's nothing but the spring grass left, and they'll do just fine. I've had to do that with a couple of my males, actually, not my females. So I feed my growing rabbits until they're about 5 months old, and then I start doing a mix with the spring grass and the alfalfa hay. I feed them the alfalfa hay until they're about 5 months, and then I start mixing it and phasing them into just the spring grass and the grains. Now, you do need to limit your babies on the grain, or they're just going to kick it out and waste money. If I have a litter of 6 with the mama, you're going to see that they'll go through quite a bit. But like I said, if you get a bunch, like I was saying, if you get, you know, those 50-pound bags and sort up, it's going to last a long time, even with babies, as long as you're feeding them accordingly. This here is about a half a cup, and I use it. I give all my adults a half a cup, and I give I group together. I count together 3 babies as one. So, you know, if there's 6, I'll put 2 in there, and then another one for the mother. So when they're all grouped together. So then once they come out and they're weaned from the mom, I still keep them, of course, on the alfalfa hay, like I said, until they're about 5 months, and I start transitioning them. But all through all of their lives, they always get the grain. And and as they're getting bigger, you know, just, you know, use your judgment. You can start increasing. Say, for instance, you've got 3 in one cage and, you know, 3 kits in another, and they're getting bigger. They're 10 weeks old now. You want to, you know, maybe put 2 in there per 3, 2 cups, 2 of the half cups per 3. So in other words, a whole cup for 3. And then just as they get bigger, kind of increase it a little, because trust me, I went through a phase of I used to do it I tried to do it like the pellets. I would just give it to them unlimitedly, and then they would just kick it out and make a mess everywhere because they were being choosy. They wanted just this one barley or this one oat, and they were making such a mess. So when I started eliminating it, they started eating all of it and not kicking it out. So you want to make sure that you don't put too much out there, because you're trying to be you want to be cost efficient. And so every fall, I save my feed bags through the year, and every fall I will rake up the leaves and I will put them in these bags and feed them throughout the year also along, as kind of a side thing, a snack thing. It's not to replace their hay, it's in addition to. This is how I feed my rabbits, and it works, and their weight does not suffer. They're happier. I enjoy it. I love it. I love that I know what they're eating. I love that they're not just eating some mundane, who knows what the heck's in pellet diet. And I know exactly what they're getting, and I'm very well pleased with it. I've been doing this for a while, and none of them have suffered in weight. None of them. And I've done my research. I'm not going to go through all the science of it, but I've done my research, and they get everything that they need. Another thing too that I found in research was to give them a block of salt, but they just really don't lick it. You can put one in there if you want, because it's recommended, but I mean, occasionally the little ones do, but I think they're mostly just doing it for fun. They're just playing with it. So, but really they don't really do much with the block salt. So that's something you can do if you want. I lived in the city for a little while, and when I was shopping at a grocery store that actually sold meat that was grass-fed only, I noticed the difference immediately. I mean, I was shocked. And really that is, sorry, fly. That is actually where my quest started with the meat rabbits. But now I have I found that I actually enjoy raising rabbits so much that now I have an entire rabbitry. I raise all New Zealand's. I have every color. There's my blue over there. He is smoking hot. That is his name. I have blacks, blues, whites, and reds. And most of them are pedigrees, but I also still have my meat rabbits because there's always going to be a market for meat rabbits, and I want to put out a good quality meat rabbit, raised with quality of life. I even have a pen that I get them out sometimes, not every single day, but even the adults, I will get them out sometimes and let them have playtime. That's also where they mate, because I want them to have a good quality of life. They're not my pets by all means, because this is a business. But certainly I want them to have good quality life as much as possible, since they do live in a cage most of the days. And I want them to have good quality. I want to enjoy raising them. I don't want it to be some mundane chore. So say hi to Smoking over there. He's looking at us. So I don't know, just, if it works for you, if you have a co-op near you, I get all my stuff from a feed store, a little country family-owned feed store, and I love it. They're so accommodating. They're so sweet and precious. In fact, one day my car broke down while I was there, and they helped me fix it. They were just wonderful people. But if you can't find that kind of thing, if you just do your research, maybe you can find somebody that's near you at least that has it, and get enough to last months, or a month, or whatever works for you, whatever your storage space is. So there you have it. I raise all of my animals, or all of my rabbits, actually my chickens too, by the way. I might do another video on that, but they are also fed naturally, and I don't buy the store-bought feed stuff. So even for the baby chicks, I grind their stuff up and feed that to them as well. And I actually think that it's more nutrient dense and better for them, because if you think about it, I know it's kind of a long video, and just follow me here. If you think about it, and even if you research, these berries, some places call them berries, but they're actually just whole grain. They're whole barley, whole oats, hold their vitamins and nutrients and everything way longer, for years actually, when you store them. But once if you buy like crimped oats, the minute they're crimped, they begin to lose their vitamins and nutrients. So buying them in whole form, it will last a lot longer. So you can store up enough for months at a time, and they are not going to suffer for it. So the bagged pellets, you have to think all that's already ground up, and it's who knows how long it's been in the factory, who knows how long it has been sitting, driving, where it came from, how long it took to get there, how long it's been sitting on a pallet, how long it's been sitting in the store, and it's losing vitamins and nutrients. Not to mention, you have no idea what's inside there. There's some words on those packages. You're like, what is that? They're adding this to it and adding that to it. Why? When you can just feed them such a simple, natural diet, and they're happier, and you know what it is. Well, I've done the research for you. You can research and see about the vitamins and nutrients and everything if you want. I'm not going to go into that. But I'm here to tell you that my rabbits are happy, and I'm happy because they're happy. They're getting good quality of life. So I hope this is beneficial, and I'll talk to you later.